Adhyayan, I am extremely delighted to have you on Filme Shilmy today. As I think you already know, Jashan is one of my favorite films, and the album is extremely underrated. And I just was remembering it
Thank
the
you.
other day, and I thought, you know what, let me reach out to you. So, first of all, how have you been? How has lockdown been treating you?
First and foremost, I think I must say thank you for having me on your show, and apologies for being late. Um, how has lockdown been treating me? Uh, Honestly speaking, initially it was absolutely tough to be able to understand that we are going through this huge pandemic and that people are dying and people are getting infected, and it felt like a film.
Hmm.
But then as time went on, time moved on. I think, of course, we all are still scared for our lives. But fortunately, the recovery rates have increased, and the economy has opened up, and people have sort of gathered the courage to move out of their homes because we all have to work, we all have to earn, and it's very unfortunate. But I would also say that every thing that comes across in your life, even if it's negative, it teaches you something in life. And I think lockdown taught me a lot. I don't know about other people.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of toxicity during lockdown, and that's sad. A lot of things happened, so
Hmm.
it's quite scary, to be very honest.
It has.
If I, it has, so many, especially in my industry, so many things that have happened.
Yes.
So many legends, so many actors who we've known, who are relatively younger, they have passed away. The huge tragedy which happened with Sushant, so much that has happened, and
Hmm.
Kobe Bryant. It started off with Kobe Bryant, and then it came down from Rishi ji to Irfan ji to all these people, and then
Saroj Khan
the
as well.
entire
Yeah.
Saroj Khan, and then the entire Sushant tragedy happened, which of course none of us all over the world have been able to get over.
No.
And it's been unbelievable. But as I said, that it's that if you survive this time, I'm guessing that you'll be able to survive for a lot longer in
Yeah,
your life. So
I'm
I'm
sure.
trying to survive each and every. I've learned how to live each and every single day, which is very important, especially in today's time. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow,
Right.
so I'm trying to live each day as it comes.
Absolutely. And I think that's very well said. You've been getting a lot of love and appreciation from audiences with Ashram. And of course, your tribute to SSR, which was, of course, Jab Tak 2.0. That song has also been received and loved by one and all. So how does it feel to gain such a reaction after so many years
Uh,
from, of being in the industry? How does it feel to get that sort of a reaction?
I mean, brother, the people who've been following my career, if you have been following my career, it's been a long ass battle. It's been a hard ass battle,
Absolutely.
and there is so much to do. There is so much to achieve, and I'll always have so much gratitude. My father always told me one thing, Adhyan, that you have to understand one thing, that the taste of success only uh, sweetens when you taste failure in your life. And today, after seeing so many hardships and struggle every single day, things not working out for me, I was hustling every single day. I was trying to make ends meet, trying to I know I didn't have to pay for my rent. I had a home, and my father was done extremely well. I know all that jazz. But just being an individual, trying to gain my own identity out there in the real world was so difficult, because I just felt that there is so much that I have to fight. There is so much that I have to do. And people feel that being a star kid, and people feel that, this nepotism and all that stuff, it's so easy. And, it was frustrating for me to tell them, hey, listen, it might be easy for a few star kids out there, but then there are also star kids who have been forgotten and long gone. And there are
Yeah.
also star kids like me who have been struggling each day, battling depression. And I don't want to make depression my source of sympathy. I don't want people to sympathize with me and be like, oh, so sad, he went to depression. No, it's an illness. It can happen with reason, without any reason. Of course,
Mhm.
I went through my own shares. So I had my own reasons why I was going through it, because for me, my career was very important. My parents had lost one son. I was the only son, and I
Oh,
got on. I got caught into wrong things.
okay.
So for me, it was very difficult to come out of it.
Hmm.
And today, when there's a sense of appreciation that comes in such a huge form in Ashram after 11, 12 years, where I have knocked on every single door in the industry and no one gave me work. There was this humongous filmmaker who we have all looked up to, called Prakash Jha. and he decided to, open his door and give me a role. And that changed everything. And
Yeah.
I saw this huge sense of appreciation. I saw this people being so receptive. And for the first 3-4 days, I couldn't believe that those messages were coming to me. I felt that maybe it's the wrong account, because
Yeah.
when you haven't received love from the audiences for 12 years, 11 years, you feel, man, you feel like, dude, I don't think this is for me. But then slowly and steadily, as time passed and the show became such a huge success.
Mm.
But what Tinka Singh has done as a character, it has created its own space. Like
Right.
Tinka Singh is, has been loved is in some other way, which is something I couldn't understand, because I come only in the 8th episode of the show,
Mm.
and half of my work has now been shifted to part B, which comes in October end. So I was any which ways so insecure and so afraid as an actor that, hey, listen, this is my big break after 11, 12 years. But are people going to even notice me? Because you have such beautiful, talented actors out there who have a much bigger screen presence and role in
Mm.
the show, like a Chandan Roy Sanyal, like Bobby Deol being the face of the show,
Mm.
Siddharth Chaudhary, people who've been continuously working in the industry. Are people who are even going to notice me?
Right.
And but my father again told me something very aptly the day I had signed the ashram. My father said, "Adhyayan, remember one thing and mark my words. It is not the length of the role, but the strength of the role that matters.
Agreed.
Even if you come in one scene,
Mm.
and the audiences today are absolutely smart enough to understand whether you have any sense of talent or not.
Ha.
And I don't want to boast about myself, but I feel that because the audiences and people like you have been so kind and so loving towards me, I feel that maybe I must have done a decent job in my
Okay.
life to be able to receive this amount of appreciation and love, man.
Bless you. You know what? Honestly, I think it's all about the universe at the end of the day. As long as you wish it with sincerity and as long as you're talented, that's all that counts. But yeah, now I have to talk
Absolutely.
about that whole gap you spoke about of like you not getting work for what 11 to 12 years. Why do you think this is the case? Because there was a time I remember when you came in like Khalidil and Raz. People looked up to you. I mean, you were touted as among like the top actors at that time, and then suddenly you just went
Yeah.
quiet. Why do you think that was the case?
I actually don't know. When things were happening and when Raj 2 became a successful film, and then when Bhatt Sahab said that he wanted to direct me for Jashan, I genuinely felt that I was very young. But somehow I don't know. I just felt, okay, hey, I'm ready. Let's do this. And as I gain experience, I'll become a better actor with each film. Because ground knowledge and groundwork is it's practical knowledge for me is of course theory is very important, but being practically on set for an actor and learning from greats like a Mahesh Bhatt or a Mohit Suri, great good directors. I think I felt that I will be able to have a decent career path from now on. And when Jashan did not do well, I had about 12 films, and it's like a pack of cards, right? It just kept collapsing. And I was
Yeah.
like, why are my films shutting down? Because Raj 2 has done well. And
Mm.
here, as you very rightly put across, and one of the biggest newspapers, I am touted as the top 5 Gen Next superstars. And in the next film, Jashan hasn't done well, even though it was a good film. It was an inspirational film. And I had done decently well I had got some great reviews, but it did not get a proper release. And because the film didn't do well, I said, so what? There were so many actors out there who haven't done well, but they're good actors and they keep getting opportunities. So why didn't I get an opportunity? Why didn't a big production house sign me?
Mm.
Because my work was appreciated. So why were my films shutting down? And for about 3-4 years, I could not accept. It was difficult for me because I didn't imagine, you starting off on a high note and then suddenly you're being shunned in the industry, absolutely shunned,
Can't even
and
imagine.
no one's answering your call, and people who were once putting their hand on your shoulder and saying like, bhai main tujhe banaunga today, don't even want to answer your call.
It's
And
true.
I didn't understand, and then I got caught up in controversies that were discussing about my personal life, something I did want to be a part of. And the media played a huge part in playing a diversion from people not discussing about my work, but only talking about my personal life. And that annoyed me. It annoyed me for so many years that
Mm.
I said, hey, look, I might not be the best actor, in the country or in my generation, but I'm okay. I'm ready to work hard, but give me a chance.
Mm.
Don't write my obituary into films.
Right.
Bachchan Saab came, did 14 films. I mean, a legend like Amitabh Bachchan, who's a mega star, came in the industry and no one took him seriously. I'm not trying to compare myself to Amitabh
No, no,
Bachchan
no.
by
Of
any chance.
course.
So please,
Yeah.
please don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to give you
Yeah.
an example that there are people who have come and who have failed and then who have succeeded. But I wasn't even given a proper chance, and
Mm.
then for 3-4 years it was tough till my father decided to make Heartless, which was a beautiful film, and it was our own production, but again the film was not given any space in theaters. The distributors were unfair to us, the exhibitors were not fair to us, and only because of course I didn't come from the groupism part of it, or I was not a part of any camp, and it was I was just my father and me by ourselves trying to work hard and create something good. It was a mother son film, and I didn't and again and when the film didn't do well, it broke my heart, because I said, look, I'm trying everything possible, and now my father, he didn't launch me, but my
Mm.
father said that once in your lifetime, if you ever need my help, I will make one film for you,
Wow.
and he did. And that film didn't do and that film again didn't do well commercially, and
Mm.
I was heartbroken and I didn't know what to do. And post that, again 2-3 years, I got a couple of film offers with newer directors, which I did, which of course the entire failure, the blame came onto me. But the directors were not serious, the writers were not serious, people were not serious. I worked as hard. I'm still the same artist I am today in Ashram.
Mm.
I'm still as hardworking as I was before.
Right.
I might have gained more wisdom. I might have
Matured.
gained more patience.
Mm.
I'm yes, absolutely. I was 20 back then. I'm 32 now. It's a 12-year gap,
Yeah.
But I was still wanting to work hard. I was still as passionate I am today about wanting to be in front of the camera.
Mm.
So things did not work out. And then in 2016, 17, I had no work. 2018, I had no work. And then I said, what the hell, man? People are not giving me any work now. What the hell? Where the hell do I even go?
Mm.
And then I realized that, why not try YouTube, man? I mean, I don't need anybody's validation or permission to be on YouTube. So if I am talented enough, why not just go on YouTube and take my singing forward, because I'm a singer as well. So I said, let's do that. So I started making my music videos, which did extremely well. My first video crossed 5 million views on my channel. My second video, Sonio 2.0, crossed 25 million.
Mm.
And it opened these doors with me and in front of the audience. And the audience said, hey, what the hell? This guy is not that bad, yeah. And they
Yeah.
gave me an immense amount of appreciation with my songs, which I was also directing. So I was acting, directing, writing, and singing.
Mm.
So I was absolutely shocked and surprised कि यार इतना प्यार लोग दे रहे हैं तो फिर भी काम नहीं मिल रहा है.
Mm.
That's when in 2019 I signed my first web series. It was called Damage 2,
Okay.
which was with Hina Khan, which came on Hangama Play, which did decently well. But Ashram, and I know his daughter really well, and she was very kind enough to sort of put me to Prakashji again, and that is how I managed to get Ashram. I showed him my music videos, and they were looking for a singer actor, and they saw it, and they made me have a look test, and that's this is where I am today, man, with Ashram.
Wow. So would you say your music career, in a way, has been a lifeline for you? Would you say that's what kind of gave you almost like a punarjanam of another kind, like a second innings for you? Would you describe it as that?
It did, because you have to understand, I was so frustrated as an actor, and this is to no offense to people who make TikToks. I started making TikToks.
Yeah.
I started making TikToks, bro. I said, I don't know what the hell to do. I said, I don't know where to release this energy I have as an artist.
Yeah.
What do I do? Where do I go? Like, I have to act. Might as well just like go on TikToks and make videos, man. So
True.
I started doing that, and then YouTube, of course, YouTube gave me this new lifeline. It gave me confidence. It gave me hope. It gave me courage.
Hmm.
That there is no wall between me and the audiences, and because they're loving me in such a big way, I just have to wait for one right opportunity, and things will change.
Hmm.
And I waited 12 goddamn years in my life,
Wow.
And it's been a huge struggle, man. And someday I would like to tell people my entire story of how difficult it is to in fact be a star kid and to fail multiple times in life, how frustrating it is to be constantly being judged and being compared to your father all the time. But I believe one thing, that the day I feel that I'm successful enough, I will tell my story then. I feel that people don't take you seriously or your failure or the story of your failures seriously till you're successful.
Hmm.
So I feel the day I become successful, I'll be sharing my side of the story as well.
Yes, indeed. I also find it quite interesting because, well, not interesting, but fascinating in a way, because when we talk about people not getting work, the debate normally speaks about outsiders, for example, people who have no
Hmm.
associations with the film industry, who try to, get into the groups, like you said. But the fact that you are the son of Shekhar Suman, who is, very well known, he's a legend in his own way as well. How does it? Where do you stand on that whole nepotism debate then?
No, I think I've always kept this stance in my interviews that I am the best example of a product of nepotism not doing well for 12 goddamn years in his life.
Oh.
It's been 12 years, and if you felt it was so easy for a star kid, then why the hell haven't I done well? And if it was that easy, I should have gotten multiple chances by a Karan Johar, by a Yash Raj, by all the big filmmakers in the country. How some of the star kids get those opportunities despite of giving so many failures.
Hmm.
So that absolutely shows that I was never the part of that group. I was and groupism more than nepotism. And people understand that. I don't know why people get into debates of nepotism. It begins at a very early level in your life. When you grow up, your parents want to give you the best upbringing. Your parents want to give you the best education possible. Your parents want to give you everything that's the best, and they want to help you in whichever way possible, so that when you become old enough, you can take your life forward. And that is what you do for your kid, and there is nothing wrong with that. If nepotism was wrong in my case, then probably my father should have given education to my neighbor's son or my neighbor's daughter, and not me. But it
Right.
doesn't work like that.
Right.
And to a certain extent, to a certain level, if you help your child at a certain level initially in his or her career, it's fine. But when you start snatching other people's, what do you call that, hak, जब
Yes.
आप दूसरों का हक छीनना शुरू कर देते हैं,
Yeah.
when you stop other people from growing, when you stop other people from coming up, because you feel that if you do that, your son will or your daughter will not grow, that is wrong.
Spot
And
on.
that is where groupism is born, and that is where favoritism is born. And I will still, favoritism is still not an issue for me, because at the end of the day, man, be honest to yourself. People who are fighting and talking about it, be honest. If you have a friend who is a close friend of yours, you would want to push your friend ahead first, right?
Of course, 100%. Yeah.
And you can't deny that, and I don't deny that. And but you also have to help a lot of people who are worthy enough to be out there. For me, an artist can never be looked at as an outsider, insider, star kid, not a star kid. For me, an artist is an artist. Today, you have to understand that in our industry, or any other industry for that matter of fact, there are people who are coexisting. If
Mm.
I'll talk on the behalf of my industry, where you have a Varun Dhawan, a Ranbir Kapoor, and Alia Bhatt, and then you have people who are coexisting. Then you have a Ranveer Singh, then you have an Ayushmann Khurrana, then you have a Rajkumar Rao, then you have a Shah Rukh Khan, then you have an Anushka Sharma.
Mm.
Do you understand what I mean by when I'm saying that there are people who are also coexisting?
And
Every industry is a tough.
yeah, sorry
Every
to.
industry is a tough industry to be in.
And I think also, if I can also mention as well, I think the biggest problem that exists, I think, like you said, it's not the nepotism, it's the groupism, and it's the whole, it's the power play that exists, and the
Yeah,
power
yeah,
abusing, I think, is the right word to describe it. Like, for example,
yeah.
making calls behind an actor's back and snatching their roles. I think that's the
Yes.
problem. So why do you think this whole debate has arisen, and why, and how do you think it can all kind of come back to track? And more importantly, how can this whole culture change within Bollywood, do you think?
Look, I honestly can't comment on who started the debate and why it started. And the point is that the debate started.
Right.
The point is that a lot of people got dragged in. The point is that this debate uh, created a lot of toxicity in this world, right? People debating, people screaming, people hating each other. Isko boycott karo, usko boycott karo. In fact, there's a movement that started right now where, see, there is no one in this world, no one's bigger than audiences. The audiences decide who wants to be a star and who doesn't want to be a star,
Yep.
and who needs to be a star. You have to understand, when star kids become popular, even before they have a first film signed, in today's day and age, you have millions of followers on Instagram, and you have millions of followers on Twitter, and they haven't even signed the first film yet. And who is doing this? It
Yeah.
is not the industry who is doing it. It's the audiences who are constantly supporting, following these people.
Yeah.
And they need to stop that. It needs to stop from the audiences first. If they feel that somebody is undeserving, do not follow them, A, on Twitter, B, don't watch their work.
I agree. Actually, it's true. Yeah.
It's just it's as simple as that, And
Yeah.
when they started this entire hate campaign against Sadak 2, I don't want to blame the film, because there are a lot of other technicians who are involved in the film, a lot of careers, a lot of people who have worked hard apart from just the star kid, in the film. There are other people who are not star kids, outsiders, who worked hard. So I don't want to take that away from them. But जो हमारे audiences के अंदर जो आक्रोश है, the anger that they have within, it's the right thing, because they can cause the change.
Right.
The audiences can cause the change. But for me, only and only when the audiences go to movie theaters and pay money to watch newcomers and give them 100 crore opening, for me, only then the movement will be successful.
Right.
Sitting at home and giving a dislike on YouTube is way easier, and it's free of cost. And
Yeah.
going out there and paying your money, your hard-earned money, on a newcomer's film is a very difficult thing to do.
100%.
And I want people to go out there and prove it, that they can support newcomers.
Yeah.
When I was talking to Prakash Jha and Prakash Ji, he told me that he wants to, and he's worked with one of the biggest stars, with all the stars, from the Bachchan to Ranbir Kapoor to Katrina to everyone, right? And he told me, Adhyayan, I am game for making films with a new boy or a new girl, but tell me one thing: will the audiences watch my film? Will I get an opening? Because you have to understand that we are in a business of commercialism. We are in a business where when you put in money, you're expecting to make money back. This is not charity. So the audiences have to start the movement. They have to, support the newer actors, actresses. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about a hell lot of actors out there who are now becoming popular on OTT platform because films never gave them a chance.
Yep, I agree.
Because audiences never wanted to watch them in theaters. And now, because the OTT has started, and because where would I go if there was no OTT? Would people notice my talent?
Absolutely, exactly. Good point.
The fact that OTT has opened doors to people, or to film stars, or to people who had done television or whatever, it gives them a platform to show them, hey, listen, please notice me, yaar. This is who I am. That is not who I am. You don't know me. Give me a chance. And they give you a chance because there is no box office involved.
Right.
People don't have to pay tickets and watch your stuff. And of course, there is people are competitive on OTT as well. It's not easy. It's not easy, mind you. It's very tough, but it's easier than films. And I wish and I pray that the audiences have the same mindset in cinemas as well now. And I want new actors to, because the experience that you get in a film, you can never get on a small mobile or on a TV. The viewing experience of an OTT is different on your phone or TV, and the viewing experience of cinema is always going to be cinema, which is going to be this huge 70 screen. So I just hope that all these things bring about this change so that we get some great actors in films as well.
But I think that's all well and good, and I do think that yes, we as audiences and of course members of the media have to be more responsible, and we have to be very careful with the way we report, because for us it might be an article, but for you it can cost an entire life. And I think that's.
I have to say this now that you brought this point. the media plays a humongous part in building a star or building an actor or building a perception or building a perspective towards an actor. Understand that always.
Agreed.
It's very easy for journalists to write negative stuff or negative comments about an actor or an actress or an actress. But people don't forget. People read it, and people hold on to it.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's easy to write it, but people don't forget. It's there in your public domain. It's there on Google. It's there on Twitter. It's there everywhere. So when you search, and then you suddenly find these negative articles which people have written because they think, "ठीक है, लिख लेते हैं." But it can affect someone's career. Why is it that when a big film star gives a humongous flop, his reviews are so biased? And why is it when a newcomer who is decently talented and who's worked hard gets all the negativity and the entire blame on his shoulders?
That's true. It's interesting you say that, actually, because I was watching an interview, I think, with one critic and a relatively new actor, and the funny thing is that critic was very ha he he with the bigger star, who's someone who's very well established and almost a superstar almost. But with that new actor, he was being grilled quite heavily. And I think it's the double standards that exist. And I was even watching another chat show as well recently, a very famous one. And whenever they had an actor who was not part of the clan or part of the main
Yeah.
elite circles, they would kind of be questioned in a way like, "Oh, tum kaun ho? Why are you here?" in a very patronizing manner. I think that's
Exactly.
the issue that seems to exist, is how has such a toxic environment been continuing in Bollywood for so long? And I think it's crazy because we don't know where to kind of position ourselves. Is it, are we shocked at the fact that it's been happening, or the fact that we're aware of it now? You know?
No, I mean, no. We've always been aware. We've always been aware. It's very unfortunate that a huge superstar, a talented boy like Sushant Singh Rajput had to die for people to bring out this entire conversation out in the open.
Yes.
People have always been aware, but no one has confronted the industry about it. Look, I am not going against my industry. I am getting my bread and butter from the industry. I am telling the industry to give people and artists like me and many others out there a fair platform.
Right.
I'm not taking away anything. I'm saying you give a fair playground to all the actors out there, and not just any. And who gives the right to journalists or people within the fraternity to call any actor an A-lister or a B-lister or a C-lister or a D-lister? A talent is a talent, an actor is an actor. You cannot give them names like this.
Mm-hmm.
Why? It's not right.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
People are in the industry, people break, like how you said, like if you're not a part of the clan, people want to break your confidence.
I agree.
Exactly. There
Yeah.
are people who survive, and I feel I am a survivor. And there are some people I feel don't survive. And you've seen the consequences of that.
Mm-hmm.
And this entire mental health and everything there, and mental health sometimes and for some people drugs, for some people into alcohol, some people doing wrong things. It's all interconnected.
Yeah.
When your confidence is broken, you start looking at other things to clutch on to hold on to regain your confidence. That is where you sort of times where you get into drugs, a time where you become an alcoholic, time where you become a smoker, you become depressed, you don't want to work, you get aloof, you cut off from your family. There are times where some people have committed suicide. I'm talking about a lot of actors before, who have given up their lives because they feel that they're not worthy enough.
Right.
They're not been able to hold on to themselves. People trolling them on Twitter, people trolling them. It's so wrong. People are constantly judging, aisa hai, waisa hai. And this is not an environment that we require today, when especially there's this pandemic where lakhs of people have died. Where has the compassion gone? Why don't we have compassion in us anymore? Why can't you just go to somebody's YouTube and be like, "Hey, great job, yeah, great job, good." I got thousands of messages on my Instagram for Ashram, thousands. Wow. I tried to reply to each one of them.
Wow.
And even out of the 1,000, 2 of them turned around and said, "Tu kitna vela actor hai yaar? You're such a flop actor. You're replying to all the fans." You just look at these people and you smile, and you don't know how, and you just tell them, "Hey, God bless you, man. God bless you, bro. me replying to my fans makes me a smaller actor or a smaller star. That's just weird.
It's just so
You know, so
ironic,
you
isn't
just
it?
basically, bro, have to deal with yeah, it's weird. It's just like, you have to, there's a lot that a human being in just generally needs to deal with today when he goes out in the real world. Forget my industry. It's just a very difficult place to live in. The world has become tough.
Hmm. I think one thing that I want to speak with you about as well, Adhyayan. You said you went through a period of depression as well, and it's not easy. I think to even
Hmm.
get to a stage where you can even address and say that you've gone through it, it's a very big deal. And I'm really glad that you've gained the courage and that positivity to do that. What kept you going
Yes.
during that moment?
Has to be my parents first for sure. I think the worst thing that you can do is when you start distancing yourself from your loved ones. And when I talk about your loved ones, they have to be your parents first. And then with a handful of friends, and I'm saying handful because you can only have 2 or 3 friends in your lifetime, especially in today's world. And then if you have your spouse, if you have your girlfriend, whoever who's been kind to you, when you become aloof from them and you start cutting off, and you start getting into your own zone or into your own world, I think that is very, very wrong, absolutely wrong. And I think I didn't do that to myself. I used to keep talking. If you see, I'm very talkative. It's because I'm very expressive, and
Yeah.
I like to be expressive because it gives me this relief that I'm venting out, I'm talking, I have someone to talk to. There were times when I was been, of course, in depression, so frustrated, everything around me, that why is it not working out? I'm trying so hard and everything is failing, and people are not appreciating anything that I do. What is the reason? Why are journalists being mean? So it was tough. But I came out of it with the hope that, as I said, that my father, my parents lost their first son when I was only 7 and he was 11 years old.
Oh.
I realized that I'm the only son, and my father always taught me that the easier option in life is to give up, and
Mm.
the tougher option in life is to fight. And I always chose the latter part of it. I always wanted to be a fighter, and there was this sense of confidence that no, I am talented. I have some sense of talent. I am not arrogantly saying it that I'm talented, but I felt I know my job, and someday or the other, I will get my due.
Mm.
There were bits and moments. There were spurs of appreciation in Raz. There were spurs of appreciation in Jashan, in my music videos. And then I realized, no, I have been appreciated even in a small way, and that small ray of hope gave me faith and gave me the courage that one day when I get the right break, the right opportunity, people will notice me. And I think I'm glad that I've been fighting and waiting for so long, and today all the appreciation coming my way, and I have a long way to go. I have a lot to achieve, right? But at least it's made me help me find a path to walk on. All these years I was trying to find a path to walk on. I
Mm.
just couldn't find the right path, and
Mm.
now that I have found the path to walk on,
Mm.
now the journey is going to be beautiful from here.
I think so too. I definitely think so as well. But Adhyayan, I've got to ask you this question. Sushant's passing has caused a lot of fear amongst new actors and people who are, like I said, fresh. They've not had any links to the industry and perhaps even beginning the industry or, are in the initial stages as well. What would you like to say to those people? Because there's a lot of fear amongst them that it's a really bad industry, so many bad things happen and all of that. But what would you like to say to those people? Because obviously Sushant's passing has been immense for all of us. I still feel extremely sad that he's not with us anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
so what would you like to say about people who are still who are fearful of coming into the Bollywood now?
I think first and foremost, as you very rightly said, very, very unfortunate what happened to him. And till date, I wake up in the morning and I think of Sushant. I never knew who Sushant was. He was not my friend, not my co-star. I had no relationship with him, nothing. And when once he passed away, I don't know. I had this sense of connect. My father started the forum. My
Yeah.
father was fighting for justice, and then I joined. And I joined in. And and coming back to your question, I must say that it's a tough world out there. In any industry you go, it's going to be tough. In any industry you go, you're going to, you go, you're going to have people who are going to manipulate you. It's a very, very, how do I say? The learning is of course comes at a very high price, because we've lost someone like Sushant. Saying, I think it was an absolutely expensive learning for us, for Sushant passing away. I mean, it comes at a very high price to lose someone like Sushant Singh Rajput in our life, who was such a bright, young, talented superstar who had another 40 years of his career ahead of him. And it's very unfortunate, but there are things that we learned. Most importantly, to not be away from your parents, from your family, not just physically, emotionally, to always be close to them, to not let anyone and everyone enter your life, and to be very grounded. It happens with success, especially in our glamour field, where
Mm.
you start feeling like God. You have to understand that success and failure are it's just an illusion. Today you're successful, tomorrow you're a failure, then today you're a failure, and then tomorrow you're successful. And that's an illusion that you have to understand. And the day you understand that illusion, I think you're sorted in life. And I don't take I of course, at a point in my life, initially I took my failure seriously. But then I said, what the hell, theek hai yaar. There are a lot of people who failed, but let's keep working hard towards what we are wanting to achieve. And
Mm.
today with success, I only have gratitude. I don't have arrogance.
Mm.
I'm not arrogant about the fact that I'm back and I'm going to screw everyone up, and I'm going to take everybody's name out there. I'm going to show them who I am. I don't have that. I'm just glad that there is so much love that has come my way. Glad that my parents, who have waited for so long, feel a sense of pride, and they're proud of their son, which is the most important thing for me. So again, as I said, keep your parents close, your family close, your friends close, and talk and share. It's very important. And don't be afraid, because we have to fight, right? Any industry that you go to, no one's going to spoon feed you anything. People
Yeah.
don't want people to be successful here. That's a reality that you have to understand. Nobody likes other people coming up and becoming successful. So you have to. It's like being in a battlefield. Any industry is like a battlefield, and you have to be ready, and you have to be prepared, and you have to take the call whether you want to be part of something that is going to harm you in the long run. Like I never did drugs. In my interviews, I said here and there, which I tried, and I said after that, I said, hey, this is not my cup of tea. But just because I want to film, I'll never become a part of a gang that does drugs. I've seen youngsters here who have come from smaller towns being a part of these parties where they want to do cocaine and they want to drink all night and they want to party all night because they feel, hey, if I do this, I'm going to be called cool, and if I'm cool, I'm going to get a film. I think
Mm.
you're not cool, you're a fool. People need to
Correct.
understand that you don't get filmed so easily by doing any sort of drugs, and
Yeah.
I'm absolutely against it. So
Mm.
you are your own judge. My point is that you have to fight, and you can't be afraid. Just
Mm.
like the economy was collapsing, the GDP was falling, and the world had to walk out. They had to work to fend for their families, despite the fact that there's a pandemic going on. But people are facing the fear, right?
Mm.
It's the same thing. In the industry, people are going to want to, many industry, man, they want to cut your role, they want to snatch your role, they want to not give you your due, they don't want to give you your credit. But if your karma is good, and if you believe in God, which I do, and my karmas, it will happen, yeah. If not today, after 10 years, 12 years. We have such bright examples. I told you, like a Bachchan Saab. You have examples like a Nawazuddin Siddiqui, who's been working for years, and today is a huge star. He had to also go through his own set of struggles in his life.
Mm.
Let's learn from other people's failures and move ahead in life.
That is so true as well. And I'm really, really glad that you mentioned that, because I think that's what we need right now. I think it's positivity and that whole drugs thing as well. And I think this whole culture, this toxic culture in Bollywood does need to change. And I'm saying this from a good place. I think,
Yeah.
it's always been about the creativity. It's always been about the craft. And it's the Bollywood, it's the cinema that we love the most. It's about the craft. And I think people need to make it about the craft. And this whole जो distractions है वो सब कुछ I think उसको मतलब clean up करना जाना चाहिए. And I really hope even Sushant gets his justice, because yeah, I think he's just amazing, and I think we
Bro,
would miss him.
bro, the cleanup, whether it's drugs or whether it's debauchery or whether it's any sort of cleanup that we're looking at, It has to happen in every industry. It is
Yeah.
not just the film industry. There are so many
Yeah, yeah,
examples out there
100%.
who are absolutely wonderful. When you look at an Akshay Kumar who wakes up at 4 a.m. in the morning, who's had a 30-year-old career. When you look at a Tiger Shroff, when you look at a Vidyut Jamwal, when you look at these people, they are good examples in the industry. There
Mm.
is always going to be a good and bad. This is not an institution. It's not school. People are adults. People are taking their own calls. Whether they want to do drugs. No, see, drugs are illegal and they're never right? But
Mm.
if you want to be in your house, do drugs, do things that are illegal, do it at your own risk. Don't influence people to be a part of that.
Yeah,
If you
I
want to
agree.
die
Mm.
doing cocaine, if you want to die doing any sort of drugs, do it in your own house. But don't invite 10 other people to be a part of that shit.
Agreed.
And
Yeah.
no matter what and how much we try to try and to do this sort of cleanup, it's going to take time. It's not like tomorrow you said let's do a cleanup and the cleanup happens, and people who have been druggists in any industry around the world are suddenly going to give up. They're
No.
not. They're going to do it even more.
Yeah.
हमारे हम आप जो जिनको बोलते हैं ना भाई कि you can't do this, तो हम बच्चे छुप के और करते हैं उसे. So this
Uh,
is what's going to happen. That the more you tell people in the industry, boss, you're going to quit, they're going to hide it and do it even more.
which makes it worse. So actually,
But the entire yeah, and the entire agenda here is to tell people, the new people who want to come in the industry, ki boss, listen, you don't do it, na. You don't need to do it. You don't need to get addicted to any sort of illegal drugs, man. If you have talent and you have patience and perseverance, someday or the other it will work out for you, because we have television, we have OTT, we have films, we have Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, we have Bengali industry, Gujarati industry. We have so much to do,
right.
and if you are talented, you will be noticed somewhere, somehow. But
Mm.
don't get into drugs.
Absolutely. That is so wonderfully put, Adhyayan. And I think everyone watching this, I'm sure, will be able to hear your views as well, and even perhaps mull over it as well. And I think it's very important. I think your journey is definitely a never say die spirit. And I think that's something which everyone can really look up to. I think this is a new Adhyayan Summan 2.0 that we're looking at. And I'm sure this one is going to be much stronger and much definitely wiser. I mean, I think you've always been wise, but you're definitely wiser for
Much stronger, man.
sure. Definitely gain strength for sure. And
No, to
I,
all, before we end this interview, I want to thank, of course, all the people sitting in UK as well. Thank you as well for always giving. I get a lot of love from UK. My schooling is from London. I
oh,
went to Millfield there for 5 years,
hi.
and I love UK. And a lot of people who have been fighting for justice for Sushant Singh Rajput, even in UK. I would like to sing two lines for them. I don't
Yes,
usually do this, but this is for people who've been fighting for his justice, and I just want to sing two lines from Jab Tak 2.0, which I dedicated for Sushant.
he's wow. Thank you. Thank you so much.
जब तक तुझे प्यार से बेइंतहा मैं भर ना दूं, जब तक मैं दुआओं सा 100 दफा तुझे पढ़ ना लूं, हाँ मेरे पास तुम रहो, जाने की बात ना करो, मेरे साथ तुम रहो, जाने की बात ना करो. Oh, 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 oh. There you go, man. To all the
Wow.
people who have given so much love
That
to this song.
that is, you know what? I I don't even have words to describe that. I think it was such a heartfelt tribute, and I think everyone who has been fighting for Sushant Singh Rajput's justice here in UK, and of course to our viewers across the globe. I think we'll definitely really appreciate that, Adhyayan. Thank you so much for that. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you so much for having me, brother. Thank you so much. You
Thank
take care, man. God bless you, man.
Pleasure is all mine, brother. Thank you.